Frank Pingel. Tune years 1989. Position forward. Games played 14. Goals 1. Signed by Jim Smith. Transfer fee paid too much. Time in tune. With Newcastle floundering at the bottom of Division 1 in 1989, Willie McFall was eventually replaced as full-time Newcastle manager by the Bald Eagle, Jim Smith. His brief was simple: keep Newcastle up. He began this mammoth task with some promise, winning 2 and drawing 1 of his first 3 games in which Newcastle scored a spectacular 7 goals.
Wimbledon's response we've seen before. Jones's long throw is turned on. Besant's caught in no man's land. Gibson twists to crack the equaliser. 10 minutes left and Hendry does it again. A glorious individual effort. A curler from just inside the box. The points stay on Tyneside.
This return was remarkable only for the fact Newcastle had only managed to find the net in 4 of the previous 15 games. However, those 7 goals all came from midfield, with Kevin Brock, Michael O'Neill, John Hendry and even Rob MacDonald scoring in what seemed to be an upturn in fortunes. All Smith had to do was replace the recently departed John Robertson with a proven, strong, athletic and prolific striker in the mould of Paul Goddard, who would almost single-handedly rescued Newcastle from relegation to Division 2 in the 1986-1987 season, scoring 10 goals in the last 14 games of the season.
Gascoigne's cross into the box, Jackson gets a touch and now here's Goddard! And Goddard has scored, he's equalled the record, he's put Manchester United 2-1 down. Newcastle United are back in front.
With his reputation for wheeling and dealing in the transfer market, Smith turned to the unfamiliar figure of blonde Danish battering ram Frank Pingel. His debut at home to Charlton was almost cut short as he left the field in the first half with blood pouring from a head wound after an accidental clash. He went on to score 1 goal for Newcastle and 1 against, a net total of none, in his 13 starts, which culminated in relegation to Division 2. Best moment. Newcastle took on league champions Liverpool at home, having beaten them 2-1 at Anfield earlier in the season.
Grobbelaar has lost it, Mirandinha's in here! A disaster for Bruce Grobbelaar, a triumph for Mirandinha. Those are the 2 players having something of a dispute then. McCreary operating at right back, but making the error here. Aldridge has gone to the far post. It'll reach John Aldridge, who gets a second bite at it, and it's tucked away by Rush. And Liverpool are level with a scramble goal. More of a little pass aimed into space that he hoped Houghton would fill. Gain of wind-assisted clearance by Wright. Mirandinha! Oh, and Grobbelaar didn't even move to try and make a diving save. It was a stupendous shot. Listen to the reception it gets.
With the score at 1-1, Kevin Brock took a corner which floated into the 6-yard box at the Leazes end.
Brock with the corner. Roeder right in there. And it's gone off the back of the head of Pingel, I think. It's his first goal in England.
Pingel rose from a clutch of bodies and, facing the wrong way, flicked his head backwards, looping the ball into Bruce Grobbelaar's net. Pingel pranced away, punching the air and screaming Scandinavian profanities. Unfortunately, his goal was cancelled out a few seconds later, as John Aldridge nodded past the hapless Tommy Wright, whose first few games between the Newcastle posts after replacing Dave Besant were dismal. However, Pingel was made to feel at home during the game, as the pitch was encircled by advertising hoardings emblazoned with the names of various Scandinavian companies. Worst moment.
Mirandinha. And Sedgley got there first, and it's a poor back pass, and John Hendry's turned it in against the club with which he started his career.
With Newcastle 1-0 up through a John Hendry goal away to Coventry, David Smith crossed into the Newcastle box. As Steve Sedgley leapt to try and head the ball goalwards, it skimmed his head and bounced off the unfortunate, unsuspecting and crouched Frank Pingel into the unguarded far corner. Fortunately for Pingel, Newcastle went on to win the game 2-1.
Now, Brian Kilcline jumps with his hand up, and a penalty's given against him. Glenn Roeder, the Newcastle player involved. Kilcline handle. Mirandinha bangs it in.
Verdict. Pingel was brought to the club to provide the goals that would keep Newcastle in the top flight, but despite the highs of a creditable draw against Liverpool and the wins against Coventry, Everton and Norwich, Pingel only managed to find the net once. Frank was not short of enthusiasm and did give his all for the cause, but for all his endeavour, he only managed to stir up ghostly memories of Billy Whitehurst with his frenzied exuberance. After what fans thought would be a morale-boosting 2-0 win away to title-chasing Norwich City, Newcastle suffered 5 straight defeats and finished the season rock bottom of the table, with Pingel starting and then being substituted in each of the last 8 games. His partnership with the wayward and disinterested Mirandinha was never going to work, given that the Brazilian seemed to lose his enthusiasm for life whenever he pulled on the black and white stripes in his last 6 months with the club. Pingel is just one more example of a player who proved himself elsewhere, winning 11 Danish international caps and scoring 5 goals, but saved his very worst performances for the Newcastle faithful.